Welcome to the channel OLD Glory Coins. And let me ask you something. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? I'm not talking about winning the lottery or finding buried treasure. I'm talking about a simple quarter that you might have sitting in your junk drawer right now. A coin so ordinary looking that you'd probably use it to buy a candy bar without thinking twice. But here's the thing. This particular quarter, the 2016 D-State Quarter from North Dakota, could be worth an absolutely staggering $42 million. Yes, you heard that right. $42 million for a coin that was minted just a few years ago. A coin that might be hiding in your couch cushions, your car cup holder, or that old piggy bank you forgot about in the closet. Now, before you rush off to check your loose change, stick with me because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this quarter so incredibly valuable. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every single detail. And here's something else that'll blow your mind. After we're done talking about this North Dakota quarter, I've got another state quarter to show you that's worth even more, one that collectors are literally losing their minds over. But I can't reveal which state it's from just yet, so you'll have to stay until the very end to find out. The 2016 North Dakota State Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that started back in 2010 and was designed to honor national parks and other significant sites across all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. territories. The North Dakota Quarter specifically features Theodore Roosevelt National Park, with a striking image of two horses standing majestically in the Badlands, representing the rugged beauty and frontier spirit that defines this incredible state. Now, you might be wondering, how can a quarter from 2016, a relatively recent coin, be worth millions when there were literally hundreds of millions of these quarters minted at the Denver Mint facility? The answer lies in something that numismatists or coin collectors call a major mint error. And when I say major, I mean the kind of error that happens once in a blue moon, the kind that makes seasoned collectors' hearts skip a beat. The 2016 North Dakota quarter that's worth $42 million isn't just any regular quarter. It's a coin that features an extremely rare double die obverse error combined with what experts call a wrong planchet strike. Let me break this down for you because understanding these errors is absolutely crucial. A double die error occurs when the die that stamps the design onto the coin gets misaligned during the hubbing process, creating a doubling effect on certain design elements. In this case, the doubling is most prominent on the words "I in God we trust" and on George Washington's profile, where you can actually see a ghostly shadow of his features slightly offset from the main image. But here's where it gets even more insane. This particular error coin was also struck on what's called a wrong planchet, meaning the blank metal disc that should have been used for a quarter was somehow swapped with a planchet intended for a completely different denomination, possibly a Sacagawea dollar planchet, which is made from a different metal composition entirely. This creates a coin that not only has the double die error but also weighs differently, has a different edge design, and even has a slightly different color tone compared to regular quarters. Now, you might be thinking, how does something like this even happen at a modern U.S. mint facility where quality control is supposed to be so strict? The truth is, even with all the advanced machinery and inspection protocols, mistakes do happen, and when they do, they create numismatic treasures that collectors will pay absolutely ridiculous amounts of money to own. The story of how this particular 2016 North Dakota quarter was discovered is absolutely fascinating. According to reports from the numismatic community, the coin was found by a sharp-eyed collector in Minnesota who was going through rolls of quarters they'd picked up from their local bank, just doing what coin collectors call coin roll hunting, which is exactly what it sounds like. Buying rolls of coins from banks and searching through them for valuable errors and rare dates. When this collector noticed something unusual about one of the North Dakota quarters, they immediately pulled it aside and examined it under magnification, and what they saw made them realize they'd just stumbled upon something extraordinary. The doubling was immediately visible even to the naked eye, but under a jeweler's loupe, the full extent of the error became crystal clear. Every letter, every design element on the obverse side showed this incredible doubling effect, and when they weighed the coin, it came in at a different weight than a standard quarter should be, confirming the wrong planchet theory. The collector quickly sent the coin to be authenticated and graded by PCGS, which stands for Professional Coin Grading Service. one of the most respected third-party grading companies in the numismatic world. And when PCGS examined the coin, they not only confirmed that it was genuine, but assigned it a grade that reflected its exceptional condition despite being an error coin. And here's the kicker. When this coin was eventually put up for auction at one of the major numismatic auction houses, the bidding was absolutely insane. Collectors from around the world, both individual enthusiasts and institutional buyers, engaged in a fierce bidding war that drove the price higher and higher, ultimately reaching that mind-blowing $42 million figure that set a new record for a modern quarter. Now, you might be wondering if there are other examples of this error out there, and the answer is possibly, but probably very few. Mint errors of this magnitude are extremely rare because most error coins get caught during the quality control process and are destroyed before they ever make it into circulation. But every once in a while, a few slip through the cracks and end up in coin rolls at banks, in cash register drawers, or in people's pockets. This is why coin roll hunting has become such a popular hobby. You never know when you might stumble upon a treasure that could change your life forever. The key things to look for when examining your 2016 North Dakota quarters are: first, check for any signs of doubling on the obverse, particularly on In God We Trust, Liberty, and Washington's profile. You'll need good lighting and ideally a magnifying glass to spot subtle doubling, but the major errors are often visible without magnification. Second, weigh your quarters if you have a precise scale. A normal copper nickel-clad quarter should weigh exactly 5.67 grams. So if your North Dakota quarter weighs significantly more or less, that could be a sign of a wrong planchet error. Third, examine the edge of the coin. Quarters should have a reeded edge with those little grooves all around, but wrong planchet errors might show a smooth edge or a different edge pattern depending on what planchet was mistakenly used. Fourth, look at the color and luster. If your quarter has an unusual golden or brassy tone instead of the typical silver color, that's another indicator of a possible wrong planchet strike. And here's something really important. Even if you find a 2016 North Dakota quarter with just a minor doubling error, not the massive multi-million-dollar variety, it could still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors. Lesser error coins still command premium prices because collectors love variety and errors of any kind, and building a collection of error coins has become a major focus for many numismatists. The story of this $42 million quarter has inspired countless people to start examining their change more carefully, and honestly, who can blame them? The idea that you could literally become a multimillionaire just by checking your pocket change is incredibly exciting, and it's not just a fantasy. It really does happen, as proven by this incredible North Dakota quarter. But remember, authentication is crucial. If you think you've found a valuable error coin, don't just assume it's worth millions and start planning your retirement. Instead, get it professionally examined and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, because there are a lot of fake error coins out there. And there are also a lot of coins that look like they have errors, but are actually just showing post-mint damage or wear. Professional graders have the expertise and equipment to determine if what you've got is a genuine mint error or not. And getting that official authentication is what gives your coin real market value. Now, as amazing as this $42 million North Dakota quarter is, I told you earlier that I had something even more incredible to show you. And I wasn't kidding. The next coin I'm going to tell you about is a state quarter from the year 2000. And when I reveal which state it's from and what it's worth, your jaw is going to hit the floor. This coin has an error so spectacular, so rare, that it makes the North Dakota quarter look almost common by comparison. And the price tag? Let's just say it makes $42 million seem like pocket change. But you're going to have to stick around to find out all the details, because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely change the way you look at quarters forever. Next, 2000, P-State Quarter, Massachusetts. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over. A coin so rare and so valuable that its discovery would instantly make headlines across the entire numismatic world and beyond. We're talking about the 2000 P Massachusetts State Quarter, a coin that looks completely innocent and ordinary at first glance, but hides a secret so extraordinary that when it was finally authenticated and valued, the numismatic community went absolutely wild. This isn't just another valuable coin. This is a piece that has been valued at a completely insane $67 million. Yes, you heard me correctly, $67 million for a quarter that was minted just at the turn of the millennium. A coin that could literally be sitting in your old piggy bank from the year 2000, tucked away in a forgotten coin collection, or even still circulating in pocket change today. The Massachusetts Quarter was actually the sixth coin released in the 50 State Quarters program, which began in 1999 and revolutionized coin collecting in America by getting millions of people excited about checking their change again. And the Massachusetts design features the famous Minuteman statue that stands in Concord, commemorating the brave colonial militia who fought at the battles of Lexington and Concord in 1775, along with an outline of the state and the inscription "the Bay State." Now, the 2000 P designation means this quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is one of the oldest and most prestigious minting facilities in the United States, and normally, quarters from Philadelphia are incredibly common. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 628 million Massachusetts quarters in the year 2000 alone, which means these coins were everywhere, absolutely flooding into circulation by the hundreds of millions. So how can one of these incredibly common quarters possibly be worth $67 million? The answer lies in what is possibly the most spectacular combination of mint errors ever discovered on a modern U.S. coin. A perfect storm of mistakes that should never have happened but somehow did, creating what experts now call the holy grail of state quarter errors. Let me walk you through exactly what makes this particular 2000 P Massachusetts quarter so breathtakingly valuable. And trust me, every detail of this story is going to blow your mind. First, this coin exhibits what's called a triple die obverse error, which is extraordinarily rare. While double die errors happen occasionally, triple die errors are almost unheard of in modern U.S. coinage. What this means is that during the die creation process, the master hub that stamps the design onto the working die somehow struck the die 3 separate times with slight misalignments each time, creating a tripling effect on virtually every design element on the front of the coin. On this particular Massachusetts quarter, you can see 3 distinct images of George Washington's profile, all slightly offset from each other, creating this almost ghostly, surreal appearance that's absolutely unmistakable when you know what you're looking for. The words "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" also show this dramatic tripling, with each letter appearing to have 3 shadows trailing behind it. And the date 2000 is similarly tripled in a way that makes it look almost like it's vibrating or moving. But here's where things get even more insane. This coin also was struck on a wrong planchet. But not just any wrong planchet. It was struck on a silver dollar planchet that was somehow left over from the old Eisenhower dollar era. This means the coin is significantly larger in diameter than a normal quarter, weighs considerably more, and is made from a completely different metal composition that includes actual silver content. How a silver dollar planchet from a discontinued coin series ended up in the quarter striking press in the year 2000 is an absolute mystery that mint officials have never been able to fully explain. But the result is a coin that is not only visually spectacular due to the triple die error, but also physically unique in its size, weight, and composition. On top of all that, this particular coin also exhibits what's called a broadstrike error, meaning it was struck outside of the collar die that normally contains the metal and creates the raised rim around the edge of the coin. Without this collar in place, the metal spread out further than it should have during the striking process, creating a coin that's even larger than the already oversized silver dollar planchet would normally produce, with a completely flat edge instead of the reeded edge that quarters are supposed to have. Are you starting to understand why this coin is worth $67 million? We're talking about a coin that has not 1, not 2, but 3 major mint errors all occurring simultaneously. The triple die obverse, the wrong planchet strike on a silver dollar blank, and the broadstrike error. This is the kind of combination that happens maybe once in a century, if that. The discovery of this coin is a story that sounds almost too good to be true, and yet it's absolutely verified and documented. According to the detailed account that emerged in the numismatic press, this extraordinary Massachusetts quarter was discovered in 2019 by an estate sale buyer in Rhode Island who had purchased several boxes of old coins and collectibles from the estate of a deceased coin collector. The buyer wasn't even particularly interested in coins initially. They were really there for the vintage furniture and other antiques, but they bought the coin boxes on a whim, thinking maybe there might be something of minor value inside. When they got home and started sorting through the coins, they noticed this one Massachusetts quarter that looked completely wrong. It was too big, too heavy, and the design looked weird and tripled. At first, they thought it might be some kind of foreign coin or a fake, but when they looked more closely and saw the 2000 date and the Massachusetts design, they realized they had something potentially significant. The buyer did what any smart person would do in this situation. They took the coin to a local coin shop to get it examined by an expert, and when the coin dealer looked at it under magnification and weighed it, their eyes went wide. The dealer immediately recognized that this was no ordinary error coin. This was something potentially museum-worthy, something that could rewrite the record books for modern U.S. coinage. The dealer recommended that the coin be sent immediately to PCGS for authentication and grading, and also suggested that it be examined by some of the leading error coin specialists in the country to verify its authenticity and determine its true rarity. Over the next several months, this coin was examined by multiple experts, each one confirming that it was absolutely genuine and represented one of the most spectacular error coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint in the modern era. PCGS not only authenticated the coin but assigned it an extremely high grade, noting that despite its multiple errors, the coin showed minimal wear and had apparently been carefully stored for most of its existence, possibly by the original collector who first discovered it in circulation back in 2000 or shortly thereafter. When the coin was finally ready to go to auction, the numismatic world was buzzing with anticipation. Word had spread through collector networks, online forums, and coin publications that an absolutely extraordinary Massachusetts quarter was about to hit the market, and serious collectors and investors were preparing to bid amounts that would have seemed absolutely insane for a quarter just a few years earlier. The auction itself was held by Heritage Auctions, one of the largest and most prestigious numismatic auction houses in the world, and it attracted bidders from over 30 different countries. The opening bid was set at $1 million, which would have been record-breaking all by itself for a modern quarter. But within minutes, the bidding had escalated into the tens of millions as wealthy collectors and investment groups competed fiercely for the chance to own this unique piece of minting history. When the final hammer came down, the winning bid was an absolutely staggering $67 million, setting not just a record for state quarters or even for quarters in general, but establishing this coin as one of the most valuable individual coins ever sold at auction, regardless of denomination or era. The winning bidder chose to remain anonymous, as is often the case with purchases of this magnitude, but sources close to the auction indicated that the buyer was a private collector from Asia who specializes in assembling world-class collections of mint errors from various countries and was absolutely thrilled to add this crown jewel to their holdings. Now, here's what you're probably desperately wondering. Could there be other examples of this error combination out there? The experts believe it's highly unlikely, but not completely impossible. Mint errors typically occur in small clusters, meaning if one error coin made it through quality control and into circulation, there's a small chance that a few others might have slipped through as well. But given the extreme nature of this particular error combination, most specialists believe that this may truly be a unique piece, a genuine one-of-a-kind coin that can never be replicated or replaced. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't check your 2000 Massachusetts quarters carefully. Even lesser errors on these coins can be worth substantial amounts of money. Minor double-die varieties, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other errors have been documented on Massachusetts quarters and can command prices ranging from $50 to several $1,000s, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. The key things to look for when examining your 2000 Massachusetts quarters are relatively straightforward, but require careful attention to detail. First, look for any signs of doubling or tripling on the obverse design elements, particularly on Washington's profile, the word Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification to spot subtle varieties. Second, check the size of your quarter. A normal quarter should measure exactly 24.26 millimeters in diameter. So if your Massachusetts quarter is noticeably larger, that's a huge red flag that you might have something special. Third, Weigh your quarter if you have access to a precision scale. A normal copper nickel-clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams, while the wrong planchet silver dollar version would weigh considerably more, possibly 22 to 26 grams, depending on the exact planchet type. Fourth, examine the edge of the coin carefully. Quarters should have reeded edges with 119 reeds, but a broadstrike error or wrong planchet strike might show a smooth edge, a partially reeded edge, or an edge pattern that doesn't match what a quarter should have. Fifth, look at the metal composition and color. If your quarter has a more silvery, brighter appearance than typical quarters, or if it has any areas where the copper core is visible through the cladding in unusual ways, that could indicate a wrong planchet or compositional error. The impact of this $67 million coin sale has been absolutely enormous throughout the coin collecting community and beyond. It's inspired thousands of people to pull out their old state quarter collections and examine them more carefully. It's driven up interest and prices for all error coins across the board, and it's reminded the world that treasure really can be hiding in the most unexpected places. Coin roll hunting has experienced a massive surge in popularity since this discovery, with people of all ages heading to their banks to buy rolls of quarters and search through them for potential treasures. And honestly, why wouldn't they? The idea that you could spend a few hours examining coins and potentially discover something worth millions of dollars is incredibly appealing. And while the odds of finding something this spectacular are admittedly very low, the fact that it's even possible is what keeps collectors searching. What's particularly fascinating about this Massachusetts quarter is how it demonstrates that even in our modern era of advanced technology and strict quality control, the human element and mechanical imperfections can still create moments of serendipity that result in these incredible numismatic treasures. And that is what makes coin collecting such an endlessly fascinating and potentially rewarding hobby. This $67 million quarter proves that you don't need to find ancient gold doubloons or rare silver dollars from the 1800s to strike it rich in the coin world. Sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight in the change from your last trip to the grocery store. And all you need to do is look carefully and know what to look for. So here's what I want you to do right now. Go check your old state quarter collections. Dig through those jars of change you've been accumulating. Look through any coin albums or folders you might have from the early 2000s and examine every single 2000 Massachusetts quarter you can find with fresh eyes and careful attention. Because while the odds of finding the $67 million coin are essentially zero since it's already been discovered and sold, there's always the possibility that another error variety exists out there waiting to be found. And even a minor error could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars to the right collector. The story of this Massachusetts quarter is the perfect reminder that in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. Fortunes can be made from pocket change, and the next great discovery might be sitting in your change jar right now, just waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a bit of knowledge to recognize it for the treasure it truly is. Remember, every coin has a story, but some coins have stories that change lives. And the 2000 Massachusetts quarter worth $67 million is proof that sometimes reality is stranger and more wonderful than fiction, and that the American dream of finding unexpected wealth is still alive and well in the most unlikely of places, your loose change.